Hey, what's up, everybody? And thank you for listening to Operation Agency Freedom, where we are bringing you top secret advice from the world's most badass digital agency owners. These amazing men and women are sharing their stories of how they have built 6, 7, and 8-figure digital agencies and how you can too. My name, of course, is Chris Martinez. I am the CEO of Dude, where we help digital agencies by giving them the people and the processes so that they can take on more projects and scale profitably. Today, I am joined by Ben Aston, founder of Black and White Zebra and the digital project manager, coming to us live from Vancouver, Canada. Welcome to the show, Ben. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. Great to be
Yeah,
here.
fantastic, man. Well, I want to jump right into our roundtable discussion because I feel like there's some cool things that we're going to learn
Yeah,
about you.
let's do it.
So I was looking at your LinkedIn, stalking our guests like I normally do, and I saw that you had a stint studying in Hong Kong. Now you're
Mhm.
originally from the UK,
Yeah.
but then you had some university in Hong Kong. So I would love to hear your story of how you wound up in Hong Kong.
Yeah, do you know what? It was a bit random. Some of my friends were applying
Uh huh.
to study abroad in Hong Kong because it was a pilot program with our university,
Uh huh.
a politics exchange program. So I did politics and international relations at university, and so yeah, as part of that, my friends were applying, so I thought I would apply. And there are only two spots, and I got one of the spots, and my friend didn't get it.
The one who
So
really
she,
wanted it didn't get it.
yeah,
Funny how that works.
but I got it. So I thought, hey, yeah, I'd just broken up with my girlfriend at the time. So I thought, do you know what? This is a chance to do something totally out of my comfort zone. And so this was in my third year of university.
Uh huh.
In the UK, we just do 3 years of uni.
Uh huh.
And so, yeah, in my final year of university, I just left. And it was the summer of, I can't even remember what year it was. Anyway, it was summertime, and it was a great time of year to be in Hong Kong for a semester. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So how long was the program? How many months were you there for?
So I was there for between August and December.
Okay. So
Yeah,
about
so a few months.
3 or 4 months. And when you landed, because Hong Kong was a British colony, I believe, or
Yeah,
was under British
yeah.
rule for gosh knows how many years. When you got there, I think that Hong Kong was quote unquote liberated in like the 90s. I want to say like 99 or something like that.
Yeah.
So when you landed, was it kind of a culture shock being
Oh,
in
massively.
really?
Yeah,
What were some of the biggest
100%.
differences that you noticed like right off
Well,
the bat?
when I stepped off the plane, because I'd never been to Hong Kong before. In fact, I'd never been to Southeast Asia before.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, stepping off the plane, the first thing that hits you is just the humidity.
Oh wow.
You step out the airport and you're just like, wow, this is what I'm going to be living in, just like this hot, sticky, sweaty. And then, yeah, the thing I love about Hong Kong is just the vibrancy is incredible. And I love it. It's a city of contrast as well. So I love the fact that you can go hiking, you can go to the beach. And many people, when they think of Hong Kong, don't think of like hiking and the outdoors, but there
Mhm,
is so many great trails and beaches in Hong Kong. And
mhm.
so in the new territories, yeah, we'd go to the new territories, go to the beach for the day, come back into the city, and back into the hustle and bustle. So I love that contrast. And But yeah, culturally, obviously, I didn't speak Cantonese,
Right.
which is a problem when so theoretically the university was I was at theoretically was an English speaking university, but it
Uh-huh.
turned out that because I don't know, most of the time the lecturers, the teachers just decided to lecture in Cantonese instead, just because that just because for most people that wasn't a problem, right? But yeah, often we'd get handouts in Cantonese, and I'd just be like, well, guys, I can't do anything with this. So it was a bit stressful at the beginning, thinking that I was going to fail my degree because I couldn't get my head around what was going on.
So when Americans go study abroad during university, or we call it college, it's usually just a big party. It's kind of like a joke. Like
Yeah,
one of your classes is like go out and enjoy the Italian, countryside.
yeah,
Go get drunk with your friends off Italian wine. So you actually had to do
Yeah,
school?
this was the crazy thing. So because I was in my final year, which counted for, I don't know, 2/3 of my degree,
Hmm.
this semester abroad counted for like 30% of my final grade. So nearly everyone around me. So we have people from Europe, people from North America. They they had this deal where, hey, you can go abroad and it's not going to make any difference to your GPA. If you do really badly, don't worry, we'll bump it back up to your average. But
Right.
for me, it 100% mattered. And so yeah, while everyone around me was having a lot of fun, not worrying too much about their work, I was definitely more concerned about it. But that's not to say that I didn't have fun. Like I did an enormous amount of traveling while we were there, to China, to Thailand. We went to China a lot of times,
Hmm.
and yeah, we had a lot of fun. But I did have to work harder than most people.
Wow. Now, do you still have contacts back in China?
Not really. I think there are some of my friends from university there.
Uh-huh.
I still keep in touch with, but no, I haven't really kept ties there.
How had COVID impacted their lives? Because China's the epicenter of it.
Yeah, well, from the people I chatted to in Hong Kong,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I don't know what difference it made to them, but for sure they have been impacted. I think probably more by the political climate, I would say, than
Hmm.
the impact of coronavirus right now.
Political impact? You mean like trade or
Also, I
border
just mean about
closures?
the role of China in Hong Kong.
Uh,
I think that's a and the kind of the impact on democracy or the lack of democracy. That is I think that's the current topic of that I see coming up on my
yeah,
feed more than coronavirus.
yeah, yeah. I hear that as well. Well, awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing that story about your explorations in Hong Kong and China. So let's get into the interview and let's learn about what it is that you do and the cool projects that you have going. So why don't you start us off? Get us started with how you got started in this crazy business of the agency life.
Well, um, so it's after university, continuing that story, I headed into above the line agencies in London. So I spent some time interning at some above the line agencies, so doing TV, radio, and press. And I was actually part of kind of an X Factor type thing where they started off with, I think, like 20 of us grads. And then they whittled us down to the final three or something that they hired at the end. And in that, as part of that process, it became apparent that they didn't think I was suitable for the job.
Okay.
I didn't get the job because they thought I had my fingers in too many pies. And one of the pies that I was particularly interested in was digital, the world of digital, because I'd been making websites and doing stuff online since I was about 13 or 14.
Hmm.
So I mean, I was supposed to be focused on TV, radio, and press, but I was really interested in the digital world. And then I discovered there were digital agencies out there. So, yeah, for me, the agency world began working at Wonderman, which is a digital agency in London.
Hmm.
I worked at Dare, and so I grew up in this agency world of early on in my career,
Hmm.
and yeah, continued that when I came to Canada. So it was back in I guess 2018 that I decided to go it alone, and that was not actually to create my own agency, but to apply those agency skills to the world of content. And so, rather than working for other people, I decided, hey, I'm going to create my own thing and create content and monetize that content. And that's what I've been doing for the past few years. So I started a site called the Digital Project Manager back in 2011.
Hmm.
And it's a community site, really, all about trying to help people succeed, trying to help people be better within the world of project management. And so, yeah, I guess 6 years after starting that, I was able to make the leap to leave the agency world,
Hmm.
start my own agency that was really just focused on our own projects, though. So we don't actually have any clients other than ourselves, which is a really nice position to be in. But
Yeah.
I've assembled a team of people that actually looks very much like an agency. So yeah, that's kind of where we've got to where we are.
That's pretty cool. And so, talking specifically about the project management side of the business,
Mm,
I think that, if you surveyed 100 agencies, if they could use another super talented project manager, all of them would say yes. It's one of the most sought after roles to fill within any agency, because
yeah,
the project manager, I mean, I say this all the time. I say the right project manager is worth their weight in gold. And they're just very hard to come by. So,
yeah,
what do you think are some of the things that make a great project manager? I'm just curious as to how you do it, because I'll share like how we interview our
yeah,
project managers too. I want to see
yeah.
what you
So,
guys do.
I mean, I look at experience. I think there's no substitute for experience and varied experience as well, having dealt with different types of projects in different industries with different types of clients.
Yeah.
So experience is I guess my first filter when I'm looking through someone's resume.
Hmm.
Um, I think I'm looking as well at their character, like have they got that attitude that a project manager should have? And so I'm looking for someone who is not necessarily outgoing, but confident enough to ask difficult, tricky, stupid questions. Because at the end of the day, the project manager is the one who's binding the team together, making sure that everybody's internally aligned, making sure that the direction is clear, making sure that there's clarity. And in order to be able to create that alignment, direction, and clarity, you really need to be able to ask stupid questions, ask questions of anyone, have some level of confidence to be able to do that. So, attitudinally, I think you need to be the right kind of person to do that.
Hmm.
But someone who's also strategic as well, someone who can think about the value, the business side of things, and be very value driven.
Hmm.
And then it comes to those hard skills as well, which are important, which are, hey, do they know how to pull together an estimate, timeline, all the documentation we need? So there's some hard skills we need, some soft skills that we need in terms of empathy, communication, and
Hmm.
attitudinally, are they the right kind of type of person? And then do they have the experience?
What are some of the tools that you think are very beneficial when looking at evaluating a project manager you want to hire to your company?
Yeah, so I mean, I first will scan through the resumes.
Yeah.
I'll create a short list. I'll interview people. I'll give them situational kind of questions. What would you do in this situation? Tell me
Mhm.
about a time that you realized you were over budget. What did you do? You're running behind on a project. You know you're going to deliver 2 weeks late. If you keep going, what do you do? So those kind of situational questions, which are the things that we deal with day in day out as people who are managing projects and agencies. But then also, I think practically it's worth doing a test as well. So what I like to do is give someone a slightly unrealistic task of creating a statement of work
Mhm.
in an hour, and they have to pull together a budget, a timeline, a statement of work, very high level, but just so that I can understand their thinking, their thought process, so that I can evaluate how they operate under pressure, under stress, and see what they prioritize, see what comes out when they've got an hour to produce something. Do they just completely flounder? Do they fail? Do they choose to focus on the timeline? Like what do they focus on? What do they do? And there's no right answer, but I think it allows them to show and put together their hard skills and also their soft skills in communicating what they've done and why.
Right. I think that one of the biggest challenges in hiring a project manager is that it's really hard to find somebody who's that perfect match, right? You want to look at the experience, of course, but all the agencies, when you look at the deliverables are all fairly similar, but the ways that they get to that deliverable are very, very different. And in many ways, that's the secret sauce that makes that agency unique. So trying to find a project manager with the perfect experience that you kind of need, it can be very, very challenging. So
Mm,
a lot of the times you're having to make some concessions and compromises on that candidate so that you can eventually hire, or so that you can train them to do it your way.
yeah.
So, like, from a training standpoint, what do you think are some of the best practices on ways to kind of raise a great project manager?
Yeah, so that's exactly the challenge that many people come to us with. So we run a site called the Digital Project Manager,
Hmm.
and we wanted to create a knowledge base and help as a community create the playbook for delivering more successful projects. So one of the things that we offer is online training, a training course for digital project management, specifically for delivering projects within the agency world, the wild west that we operate in, with crazy budgets, stupid timelines. How do you actually apply a process to that? So that's really why we created the training and the community that we've built to help people be better in that environment. But I think going back to that, choosing the right person, I think it comes back to someone who has varied experience. I think is super helpful, because then they understand how things operate in different environments, and they can also bring insights and better ways of doing things, perhaps, that they've got from a different place that they've worked at. So having variation. And I think, I mean, there's some agencies who are, a bit of a factory, kind of churning the same things out time and time again. But I think as agencies need to be able to evolve and to pivot, you want someone who's going to bring something a bit fresh, a bit new. Yes, you want to train them up to your way of working, but actually there are things you can learn. There's always something you can learn from someone. So having someone who's got some variety in that experience, I think, can be really helpful.
Gotcha. So I want to shift gears a little bit, because the digital project manager is essentially, it's an LMS. It's an information product. If we break it down, how have you enjoyed doing that? Because that's one area of the business that I don't think a lot of agencies get into, is
Yeah.
creating trainings that for their clients, or also to do like lead generation. And right now I'm asking selfishly because I'm in the middle of launching my own training site, online courses. And so, like what have you learned from building out the digital project manager?
Yeah, man, it's been an interesting journey. So for us, we built out our training because we kept on hearing time and time again from our audience that they wanted to learn how to do things properly, and they wanted to hear from people who'd worked at bigger agencies, who delivered more complex projects. And so we made sure first that we started with the customer need, that actually, hey, someone out there wants what we're about to produce. And actually, I've kind of validated it by pre-selling the course before actually creating it.
Yeah, perfect.
Then I told everyone that, sorry, it's delayed. I thought it was going to be delayed by 3 months. It was ended up being delayed by a year, because that's how long it took me to build the course.
Right.
So actually, it was a much bigger undertaking than I realized. That's one thing I definitely.
I'm learning that as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot
Like,
longer
you
than you
think,
think it's going
okay,
to
I
be.
can knock this out in a few hours, but then you realize, oh man, I need to create the kind of learning architecture. I need to think about how all these things fit together. And just when you think you've got it finished, you realize you missed a piece over here. So we're iterating on our course at the moment and trying to create the next version of it. But in tandem with that, what we also decided to do was release a membership, because we realized, okay, some people, their learning style is suitable for an online course, and our course is 7 weeks long, but it's quite intense. So in parallel with that, I guess a couple of years after launching the online course, the 7-week program, we launched our membership, which is all about bringing together this community of people, giving them the resources they need, the training they need to succeed. And then they have it's another kind of resource base as a community that they can get plugged into. So I would say that actually, from my experience of rolling out a membership product and a learning product, and then actually in parallel with that, we have kind of one-off e-products, mini courses, templates that you can purchase as well. I would say that the easiest one to launch would be a membership product, because you can slowly iterate on it over time, and people expect it to change, and they're not expecting this, polished thing right from the get-go. So my experience of it was launching it was a lot of work. It's certainly paid for itself. We've had hundreds of people take the course, but it was a lot more effort than I originally anticipated.
So now that you've got it up and you've got it launched, like what are some of the most popular courses or products that people seem to be liking?
Yeah, so I mean, we have a flagship product, which is it's a course called Mastering Digital Project Management, which is all about delivering more successful projects. And we go through the project life cycle of initiating a project, how we talk about different methodologies that we can use. Then we talk about how we kick off a project and plan it properly. We go through creating estimates, timelines, statements of work. We talk about managing and controlling a project, how we get it on the rails and keep it on the rails, stop it falling off. And then we kind of wrap it up with talking about how we manage ourselves and how we manage our teams. So we're kind of covering the complete project life cycle over the course of 7 weeks. And it's a pretty intense course, but it really sets you up with some practical learning that you can apply to projects and managing delivery straight away.
And do you find that it's a better course? It's a course that's better suited for people who are in project management and they want to get better, or for somebody who's brand new?
Yeah, we have both, to be honest, coming on the course. So
Mhm.
for someone who's never managed a project before, it's going to be a bit of a shock to them because it would seem quite intense. So I think it's probably best suited to someone who's got some experience, maybe 1 or 2 years experience, but hasn't been doing it for very long. But equally, we have people who've got 5 years experience and they come on the course because they want to level up. They want to take their skills to the next level and find out how things are done properly. Because I think a lot of digital project managers just learn on the job and they've never really been taught how to do things properly. And they've got a hunch they're doing it kind of the right way, but they've just kind of fallen into it. So providing them with some kind of framework is super helpful.
Gotcha. Cool, man. So what are some of the other things that are on the horizon for you guys?
Yeah, so the Digital Project Manager is one of the communities we've started, and really following on and seeing the success of that and how we've been able to gather people together and create a platform that facilitates sharing and learning from one another. What we've done is launch some more. So we launched communities, one called peoplemanagingpeople.com, one for customer experience, one for QA, one for e-commerce. We're producing new communities and creating resources, bringing people together to try and help people succeed in whatever digital discipline they're working within. So, yeah, we're passionate about helping people get better at what they do. And for the perhaps typically boring niches, project management being one of them, like no one really usually gets excited about project management or
I
quality
do.
assurance.
I do.
but it's not sexy, right? So what we're trying to do is create community in these places that are underserved. And for me, that is really exciting. It's about bringing people together and helping everyone level up together, facilitating a community that enables that to happen.
Yeah, and so for those that are out there listening to what Ben just said, yes, project management is not sexy. Like operations is not sexy. Quality QA and QC is not sexy at all. But honestly, after you've been doing this for a long time, you realize that that's where you're going to really make or lose all your money,
Definitely.
because a good project manager is going to take so much work off of your shoulders and give you the peace of mind so that now you can actually go out and grow the business. If you need to work on business development, generating relationships with other people, getting more referrals, a good project manager is going to take all of your operational worries away so that you can focus on actually getting new clients and getting bigger projects and growing the company. Or maybe like your next big thing that you need to do is building out more of your leadership team, managing your finances, whatever that is. That's why I'm so passionate about the importance of project managers, because they are the pivot point between your clients and your team. And that's what's going to end up helping you to grow the business. That one person, like if I tell everybody this, if there's one person that you're going to hire first, and especially if you're choosing between a salesperson and an operations person, 100% always hire the operations person. Always hire that operations manager, that project manager, because they're gonna like make the factory. They're gonna make sure that all the cogs are spinning properly. They're gonna help you to solve problems that you can't see, all that good stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think 100% I'd agree. Like if we're talking about profitability, which is what we care about, right? Because we can make top line revenues great, but you need to make a good profit. And Having project
Absolutely.
management in place is going to help you create better estimates, so that you can actually deliver on those estimates, more accurate timelines, and thinking about resources so you're not stretched and stressed all the time. It's going to help you manage and control your projects better. So yeah, get on the project management train.
Yeah, absolutely. So, last question. What is your favorite interview question to ask a project manager candidate?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think I always like asking project managers, "Hey, tell me about your biggest project failure.
Mhm.
What happened, and what are you going to do differently next time?"
Nice. I'll share mine with you because we just did it this morning. So we call it the peanut butter and jelly sandwich test. And so basically we ask somebody to pretend like we pretend like one person's an agent and one person is or the interviewee is the agent, and then somebody's calling in and they want to walk through or they want to learn how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich from scratch. And they've never made one before. They don't know what peanut butter is. They don't know what jelly is. And so we see how they go through that process. And basically it puts them under a lot of pressure for one, so they're uncomfortable. And we want to see how they communicate, how well they pay attention to the little details, because the details absolutely matter in project management. And then we want to see how they think sequentially and solve a problem on the
Mm,
fly.
yeah.
And so if you do this test properly, the call should take between 10 and 15 minutes. And it's really, really interesting. We have found that men typically do this poorly. Women are way more detail oriented.
Yeah.
I have no idea why that is. I'm sure there's
Well,
a sociological reason behind it.
do you know what's interesting? I think within our project management community, I would say like 80-20, it's females who are probably better at project management than guys are. That's just the nature of the community in digital, at least, that we see. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Awesome, man. Well, so we're just about out of time. So Ben, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can head to benaston.com to see what I'm up to. Blackandwhitezebra.com is our media company that we run.
Mhm.
And yeah, if you're interested in all things project management, head to the digitalprojectmanager.com.
Awesome. And who would be the perfect person to reach out to you today?
If anyone is interested in building their project management team, hiring project managers, or upskilling their team and taking them to deliver projects better, if they're interested in increasing their profitability, then come and have a chat, and we'll talk about training for your team.
Awesome. All right, Ben. Well, thanks so much for being on the show today. For all of our listeners, thank you guys for tuning in today. And make sure that you return next Thursday and every Thursday for the next episode of Operation Agency Freedom. Thanks, guys.